Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Grace and today we are going to be doing the monthly budget for January. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write down what bills I have on what day. I've already laid down the stickers just because I wanted to save some time, but I'm also going to be laying down my paydays. So as you may or may not know, I get paid bi-weekly. So the next time that I get paid is on the 10th. And then I also get paid on the 24th. So those are my two paydays right there. But my husband gets paid weekly. So he gets paid on the 3rd, the 10th, 17th, 24th, and the 31st. So his paydays, I'm going to mark a different color. And that's just as a reminder that those are his paydays. And usually how it works with our paydays is he will pay certain things with his paychecks and I'll pay certain things with my paychecks. So we just combine the bills and the rent and all of that. And we usually pay the rent with last month's paychecks. So my husband is paying rent on the 1st with December paychecks. And that has just become the easiest to do. It's just easier to do that because then it leaves us with money on these last two paychecks from him to be able to pay the next month's paycheck. And so now that I've laid down my paydays, I'm gonna go ahead and write down my bills. I like coming back at the end of the month and I like putting the account balances on here. And so at the end of the month, I like coming here and writing down what account balance I have for each one of these. So my checking, my savings, retirement, and emergency fund. Emergency fund has stayed the same, but as far as checking, savings, and retirement, I like to see what's on there at the end of the month. So I'll come back like on the 31st, for example, and I'll write down all of these account balances. And then just kind of keep track of that. And I've been doing that for the past couple of months, and I really like doing it. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and write down my bills. Now these stickers are from the Anconkton stickers that actually came with my monthly deluxe planner. So that's where these are from, and they fit just fine on the happy planner. So yeah, I'm just gonna look back at what I have, what bills I have here, and I'm gonna write them down right here. And I also like writing how much we're paying for each bill. All right, so my paydays are ready to go, and so are my bills. And then now, what I did before was I would plan out how much I would do for my cash envelopes and my sinking funds. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So one thing I should probably mention is that the paycheck, I got paid December 27th, so that paycheck is going to cover the first 2 weeks here as far as cash envelopes and sinking funds go, because one of the things that I told myself was that I was going to begin doing my sinking funds every 2 weeks instead of just once a month. So I'm gonna go ahead and just write that information over on this side. So I'm just gonna put paycheck number 1, which technically was from December 27th, is going to cover the first 2 weeks here. And then this paycheck on the 10th is going to cover the last 2 weeks here, because technically this paycheck, even though the month is not over here, this paycheck on the 24th is going to cover the next 2 weeks and so forth. So that's usually how it works with my budget. But my paycheck this time around was, I wrote it down, 1,309. I'm gonna do, so for cash envelopes, I'm gonna do, so I'll write it down here, cash envelopes. I'll go ahead and do $300. And then for my sinking funds, I'm gonna go ahead and do $150. So $150 for sinking funds, and for cash envelopes, $300. So that'll be a total of $450 in total for the first paycheck. For paycheck number 2, it's most likely gonna be around the same. So I'll just keep that there, and I'll come back and put paycheck number 2 once I do know what that paycheck will look like. All right, so now I'm gonna move on to my next page here, because I do want to talk about these pages here. So as far as my budget for my cash envelopes, I am gonna, so this is the monthly budget. This is not actually the budget that I have for the 2 weeks. So my cash envelopes I stuff every 2 weeks, and my budget for groceries for the month is $400. For gas, I've actually increased it to $160. Miscellaneous, I've actually lowered it to $100. It used to be $160 for the month, but I've lowered it to $100. For personal, it's always been $75 a month. For the girls, $45. So I've increased both girls and household to $45. It used to be $30 a month. And then fun and eating out has been at $100 each for the month. So now I'm gonna just budget my income and my expenses for the month. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm going to include how much my husband gets paid for my budgeted income, because he obviously does cover some of these bills. So the least amount that he would get paid is $800, and I actually like writing that down. And then the least amount I would get paid is $1,200. Okay guys, so after editing this video, I realized that I completely lost the section where I added up the income. I accidentally deleted it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about how I came up with this number here, this 6,900. What I did is, because these last few paychecks technically are used for next month, I added up the last 2 weeks of last month into the income for this month. So including these paychecks, and then the one that I got paid last month, and then the ones that my husband got paid last month, we came up with the total of the 6,900. And so technically, I didn't necessarily want to add these because they're technically going into next month. Like, these last paychecks are going into the next month's rent, and this paycheck is technically going to pay for the bills for the February month, and then the cash envelopes and sinking funds. So I didn't necessarily want to add these, but the numbers are pretty much the same, except that for the month of January, I'm sorry, for the month of December, there was only 4 weeks technically. So with that said, there's an extra week for January that my husband actually gets 5 paychecks, and in the month of December he only got 4 paychecks. I'm gonna go ahead and add up the bills. I'm gonna save 40 for electricity because I never really know how much it's going to be, but it's usually less than 40, especially in the winter. So So our total expenses are at $3,134, which, to be honest, this probably is not going to change a whole lot, because most of our bills are fixed and not variable. But either way, I'll come back and put the actual at the end. And so if I subtract this from this, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in my budgeted total, because that's what I expect to have remaining. So I should have probably said remaining on one of these. So 6,900 minus 3134.36. I'll just put here remaining. $3,765 with 64 cents. Alright guys, so this is technically what we would have remaining, so $3,765 with 64 cents. From here, we're also going to budget out the cash envelopes and the sinking funds, and that's what's going to give us, after that, it's going to give us like our actual remaining total. So this is just actually the budget. So when at the end of the month, I'll come back and I'll put the actual budget for each one of these. So that is my monthly budget for January. Again, everybody does their budget a little bit different, so this is how it works in my head to do. And I just wanted to explain how I come up with the totals as far as how we're able to pay things, how we're able to kind of narrow it down with the bills and things like that. And yeah, I really like having this section here. It's really helpful to kind of get an overview of what we'll have remaining. That is it for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like down below, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't done so, and we'll see you on the next video.